We will return to the CBS special movie presentation of Alice in Wonderland.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Greetings from camp. Hiawatha. Swimming school here. But this place is not like home. I miss your nice fresh pillowcases.
You miss Downy. It's so pleasing. April freshness. That's one reason. Downy softness. That's another. Downy freshness makes a difference. Love your mother.
Now there's a new Downy. Best Downy yet. April fresher than ever. With a no-mess cap the others don't have. Pours easier, measures easier. And what's left goes back in. No messy bottles. New cap, more April freshness. Best Downy yet.
It's Bosley's Law. She who buys bargain trash bags can be penny wise, but trash foolish. Glad trash bags are made with 3 plies of Stress Flex that lets the bag stretch without breaking. Why take chances? Get Glad.
Is he gonna eat Jif too?
Sure. It's got to be Jif for my guys. Or girls.
The difference is just being out of your taste. Sassy means the world to me.
I'll teach him to make the Jif all gone.
The melody one for your special one with a taste for peanut.
I remember choosing the peanut butter for his first taste. I tried all the big brands, and Jif had more fresh roasted peanut taste.
Peanutty difference in Jif.
Glad to share he's a girl.
In a distant land, Santa's elves are especially busy making you something special. A stuffed reindeer ornament, just like the reindeer in the new motion picture Santa Claus the Movie.
Good likeness.
And it's free when you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates. So put plenty of both on your Christmas list. McDonald's gift certificates and free reindeer ornaments. Seems believing.
Silent.
Wednesday on Charlie and Company, will Christmas Eve become a silent night if the kids leave home?
Hold on there, Junior Grinch.
Thursday, a ghost from the past.
The boy from Atlantis. The kid is real.
Unearths a murder case that might end Magnum's future. And when $1 million deal turns deadly, Rick trades places with AJ in a scheme only a mother could love.
Did you know your eyes change color when you're about to do something stupid?
Simon and Simon. Then Gary gets closer to the truth about Empire Valley.
You've been in on this from the beginning.
And the truth is murder.
How do you want me to do it? Quietly.
Knots Landing, Thursday.
This is CBS.
The first presents of the season. I'm trying to save money by planning ahead. These were on sale at Mervyn's. They have a terrific selection of sweaters for Mrs. and Juniors at 1/3 off. The colors are beautiful and the prices are right. Just $11.99 to $15.99. Great looking sweaters for men are on sale too. The cardigans and the ski sweaters are both just $17.99. Maybe I should have had Mervyn's wrap these after all. You'll find lots of great gift ideas at Mervyn's today.
Such a sensation in his blue jeans. A temptation, if you know what I mean. Making me crazy till I'm just about gone. Is it what he's got going or what he's got on? The lovely sensation. The sensation.
Lee jeans are available at Mervyn's.
The latest on the Texas deep freeze at 10.
My friend Janet has the healthy look of a country girl, but she lives in the city. She's an Ivory girl, all right.
Healthy looking skin doesn't come from where you live. Exercise, eating right, and washing with a soap like Ivory are what count. I don't like a soap with deodorant or heavy perfume. Ivory gives me a natural kind of clean. And I like that.
Healthy looking skin. Ivory can help you have it too.
To me, Ivory's like country air and sunshine.
If you know a healthy looking Ivory girl, write us.
In Greece, gifts are exchanged on St. Basil's Day. In Venezuela, on the Feast of the Epiphany. In fact, the world has almost as many days for giving as there are gifts. Yet millions of people give the same thing, a pulsar. The fine watch whose extraordinary appeal makes Pulsar as perfect for Christmas as it is for Kakumisak. Pulsar, the world knows a great watch when it sees one.
If you're looking for a dustbuster vac, beware the imposters. You can tell a real dustbuster cordless vac. It's written all over its face.
And now, in a super celebrity spotlight, that's right now, in our...
Black & Decker's Spotlighter rechargeable light. When others fail, it shines. The Spotlighter and the Dustbuster vacs. Now with rebates on both. From Black & Decker. Ideas at work.
Some people think Philadelphia brand cream cheese tastes so rich they should feel guilty about eating it.
Hold it.
Ounce for ounce, Philly actually has half the calories of butter or margarine.
Half the calories? We can have creamy Philly anytime we want.
How about lunch on Thursday?
Okay, and after 10 is Saturday morning.
Philly has half the calories of butter or margarine.
October 27th at 8. Wait, oh, please, pencil me in.
And try Philly cream cheese and onion and chive, strawberry, and other favorite flavors.
It fits. No nonsense pantyhose. The first pantyhose with 16-point contouring fits you like nothing else. Shapes itself perfectly from your ankle all the way to your waist. No nonsense fits like no other pantyhose. And now buy 2 pair of no nonsense control top and get 1 pair free inside special boxes on display.
And that's no nonsense.
Welcome everyone. Good morning. Yes, it is actually morning here, where I am. Yeah, I don't expect this is going to be a very long stream. I figure there were a couple of things that I would have liked to gone over last night. They just they all didn't happen, and I wasn't aware of the individual stories that took place, so I could actually go over, just say hello to a couple people. Limey the Jumpster Squirrel, it's always good to see you, buddy. Super Bears, this fucking tool right here. It's too early for you, fuck, I don't even fucking remember your fucking name, bro. Billy. It's too early for me. Jesus Christ. What's up, Billy? It's good to see you, buddy. Brianna, happy Friday. Claire, here's some weekend relaxation on me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Cheesy Wheezy, Constance, Hackup, Kelsey 206. I'm just randomly picking some names here. I'm just scrolling, and so if I don't shout you out, don't think that I don't appreciate you being here. Yeah, so yesterday's stream was fun. Oh man. Yeah, we're actually gonna do some of that too. Now that I think about it, I, that's actually yeah, that's gonna be fun. We're gonna go over a couple of things in regards to that. Coffee is a lot better in the morning. So in case you didn't know. Um uh yeah, but there's some things that I'm definitely going to say because I don't claim to always be right, at least not seriously. I do that in jest quite a bit. But I don't claim to always be right. And there was something that I was pleasantly wrong about yesterday that we're going to discuss and talk about. And I apology for what? No, bro, you're dreaming, dude. No. Let me be abundantly clear about covering crime lines and lies yesterday. Uh I didn't even know the history or the connection to people I had history with until after the stream, as a matter of fact. Uh which makes it that much easier to not regret the slightest bit of anything that I said or did on this stream yesterday. Not even a little bit. I want to be very, very abundantly clear about that. Let him know, Cherry. Let him know where he's at. Uh we yeah, I meant every single word. And I'm glad that this was brought up. Let me just go over some of the comments here. So we're just going to go over a few of the comments. Even if I don't agree with your comment, a lot of times I'll just give it a love. You know, but I mean, you're not going to really be able to read them much, but there were certain comments that I found and let me just shout this one out because I pinned this one because this is one of the kindest comments that somebody has ever left on my channel, and this is from the Joy Catcher 8189. If I or a loved one was on trial, I'd want Will on the jury. Someone who sees what we do but slows down for evidence. I've learned from my own personal experience with this heavy stuff that it was screwed up bad. Rushing without some real solid evidence can devastate a case and destroy a person's life with ripple effects. Feelings aren't enough in court. Motives aren't needed either. How many people grew up with at least one alcoholic or addict? I know I did. He did his very best, in my opinion, and was able to provide well for 10 kids while battling his demons. He wasn't abusive. In fact, he taught us that we all bleed red. Thank you for touching on these great points. And that was very kindly written. And not because she said, something nice directly about me so much, but what I really was, what I was touched by in this comment was that this person really gets what I'm trying to relay on this channel. Someone who really truly listens. And then there was, and because I couldn't take phone calls yesterday. I don't normally respond a lot to comments, so I figured I'd indulge some of the people who were visiting from shut up, Cherry. Who are visiting from that other channel. And so this person writes, they are opinions and scenarios. And writes, the TBI said foul play. Not ruling anything out but abduction. So literally the 2 out of the first 3 sentences of this comment are dead wrong, are completely wrong. We are just making guesses, not any truth. Right, true. As far as the parents, they are not good people as far as addiction and parenting. Plus everything that they said online, especially unfur the influence or what they don't say. We just care about Summer. I have a different perspective that I don't want to bring up, but on May 24th, my 23-year-old daughter passed away in her sleep 4 hours after her nap, and I found her. I'm traumatized still, but there is so much that these parents should have done and been able to explain, which could be innocent, but it's not looking good. I could explain so much, but I'll stop here. It's not about me or my daughter, but I guarantee I would be looking everywhere. I hold on hope she's alive, but if not, may the person or people be held accountable. The people she was last with, in my opinion, there's your answer. That's all my opinion. And it's funny because these people who leave these comments last night, they're all, they all love to say, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. I started from the first week of this case and know everything. No, you don't. I'm all about Summer. I drove with my daughter to the swimming hole. It was stagnant, nasty water, and just somber. I would never go to Ben Hill Road, of course. I live 3 hours south in Georgia, outside of Chattanooga, some terrain. I've never reached out to DNC and harassed them, and that does nothing. We want Summer found like most of us. I take what Don says with a grain of salt, unless I believe is important. DNC are toxic and codependent. They exploited himself. All those channels use them, I agree, but CLL is not what you think it is. That's why I'm confused. Ask us anything. Candace will not talk. That's why no new leads are saying. That's why no new leads. Just saying. Think about it. You can drive 10 miles, same cell tower, etc. I'm all about Summer, always will. TBI nor LE did not release this photo. TBI nor, okay, so there's a shit ton of misinformation. This is somebody who is so passionate about the Summer Wells case. Somebody who's so passionate about the Summer Wells case, supposedly, right? That, but their whole comment is just filled with misinformation. And I didn't even go into all of that stuff. I just covered 1 or 2 things when I responded. So I simply asked a question. When did the TBI say there was foul play exactly? And then this Angela person, Angel P5224, says, do your homework. TBI says foul play is on the table. Why do a show about CLL? Tragedy pimp? Dude, get the log out of your own eye. I've never heard that expression before. And then why I don't know what why I is. You notice the people who white knight for the tragedy pimps always have grammar problems. Always. It never fails. So, And that's an interesting thing that she says here. She says, do your homework, with such confidence. TBI says foul play is on the table. But they said they didn't directly use those words and say TBI says that TBI never directly just quoted and said foul play is on the table. I mean, they said everything is on the table, including abduction. They're not ruling anything out. Shay Nene Suspish. Quick subject change. Did you see BHB filed a 100,000 lawsuit against Queen Bee? And he, yeah. I mean, it's not. I'll let other channels handle that. There's, I'm a little more concerned with other things that were not fully covered yesterday, and I just want to be able to cover these things because whether we like it or not, TBI did respond to that reporter from the news. And I want to be clear because at one point I said that reporter who was I guess on the scene in Rogersville and speaking to News Nation, she was merely being interviewed. She doesn't work for News Nation. She works for a legitimate news source. So the person who and I don't, let me see real quick. Well, I'll figure that out after we go over these comments. But this person was a legitimate news reporter, and she spoke to the TBI. So what she's saying holds that much more water to me now, knowing that she was merely being interviewed by News Nation. So I want to be clear. Yesterday, according to that legitimate news reporter, she says that the TBI confirmed to her that Dawn, Candace, and Candace's mother all passed polygraph tests. That they all passed polygraph tests at the beginning of this case. She specified at the beginning of this case. I don't know if that implies that they took another one and failed months later. I don't know. But they're not saying any of that. That right there is not evidence to us that they are dishonest about what happened to Summer or as far as their involvement. I mean, I don't know what you people want. Now, here's the thing. I could see that a polygraph test, is not, I understand that it's not admissible in court, but I could also see, because they are beatable, you could beat a polygraph. I mean, it's really difficult to do. But again, these are not clearly criminal masterminds. I could see the possibility, and I would entertain the possibility. I can't really see it, but I'll entertain the possibility that one of those three people passed the polygraph test and beat it, but all three of them. And we're not talking about, when they say pass the polygraph test, it's the results are inconclusive if you fail, for the most part. I mean, they don't say that you passed if the results are inconclusive. They just don't do that. Right. Cherry is saying They said they have said everything is still on the table and everyone is still a suspect. That includes YouTubers until declared otherwise. So should we start just throwing mud at YouTubers? You know? Hell, I was an hour away from Rogersville when Summer disappeared. Does that make me a suspect? I mean, you people will do anything just to get your minds racing and think that you're being smart. And yet there was nothing factual about anything that this person's comment said. There was, I mean, you know, you want to cherry pick little things. You want to take something that the TBI says and then take it to fit the narrative that you want that justifies you throwing crazy, sick accusations at people you don't even know. And so I responded after this person's like, do your homework. Like I haven't covered this case since the beginning myself. I responded, they specifically said everything, quote unquote, including foul play, was on the table, but they have no evidence of it. They also said it's possible that she wandered off, but have no evidence of it. They also said an abduction was on the table, but they have no evidence of it. So how do you come to the conclusion that the TBI said foul play exactly? And then she says it's on the update from the TBI. What update? Like, I responded to her, what update from the TBI? When did this update supposedly happen? Because the news quoted them in saying that there are no updates, but as soon as there are, they'll let us know. And I let her know, listen to the reporter with a timestamp, this timestamp.
Comes to the evidence in this case, law enforcement just hasn't really told us much, and they say that when they have something, they'll let us know.
Did the parents and any other
right there
family members take a polygraph early on?
There are
in the
no
investigation?
updates in this case. Okay, so this is why I'm taking one
that
more time.
Comes to the evidence in this case, law enforcement just hasn't really told us much, and they say that when they have something, they'll let us know.
Did the parents and any other family members take a polygraph early on in the investigation?
Okay, so this is why I'm taking that as that's not an update. And then you've got this Shannon Georgia Peach person, the original poster of this comment. The glare, yes, possibility, but my point is no abduction. See, they want to just focus on the one thing, you know? Like every time you simply, and all I did was ask questions. I asked them to back up the statements that they were making. Where's the what update from the TBI? When did you hear the TBI say that there was foul play? And then they want to say that the TBI didn't even release the age progression photo. They absolutely did. They tweeted it. It was the TBI's Twitter that released that age progression photo. And when these, I'll get to that later. So they go on to say, my point is abduction. We can agree to disagree. No, we cannot agree to disagree on the facts. Let me be very clear about that. We cannot agree to disagree on facts. It's either a fact or it's not a fact. And you claiming that something is fact when it is clearly not, I'm not going to agree to disagree with you. I'm going to tell you that you're fucking wrong. And I'm going to tell you that you're irresponsible for doing that. I'm going to let you know that you're contributing to the difficulty of summer being found, because the TBI has been quoted in saying that the reason why they have no credible leads is because of people spreading misinformation on social media. The very same type of misinformation that you put in my comment section. And you people are sitting here acting like you're doing this for summer. You keep telling yourselves, I'm doing this for summer. I'm doing this for summer. I'm doing this for summer. But you're not. Because the only people that are doing anything productive for summer right now are the TBI, the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, and the FBI, who they liaise with. That's it. There's nobody else. Nobody else gets to call themselves Team Summer if you are not simply just letting them do their jobs or trying to promote letting people understand why you need to just let these people do their jobs. I mean, you're not helping at all. You want to sit here and justify your actions, but you're wrong. Because what you're doing is not for summer. It's self-serving. What you're doing is you're hating two people that you don't even know and using summer, because you probably call yourself a Christian, and you're using summer to justify the hatred that you're directing towards these people that you don't even know. You're saying we're doing it because we care about summer. If you did, then A, you would support anyone who considers themselves a loved one of summer, since there's no evidence against them. But most importantly, you would support the professionals and listen to what they say, because they have a strategy. There are reasons why they release the information that they release and why they withhold the information that they withhold. And that's because they want your help in that sense, to just be careful with the misinformation. They want to keep you informed with the right information so that misinformation is not spread. And it's like you're slapping them in the face for it. And these are the only people that Summer has a chance of being found by. She doesn't have a chance with anybody else. Who's going to go out there and do it? You? None of us are. I mean, there's an overall point when they say everything's on the table and everyone's a suspect, meaning everyone. And when they say we don't have any new information to give. And when they say we're still doing, yes, thank you, Ansley Daniels with WJHL. Thank you so much for that, Stacey Price. These are the only people that can do this. You're not going to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. And when you're doing exactly the opposite of what they're asking people to do, and they're only asking you to not do certain things. You know, they're still asking you to share her picture. The TBI released this age progression photo that is a simulation. It's what she may look like today. There's no way to accurately tell what she looks like right now. She has short hair in the age progression photo. She could have long hair by now. She could have a shaved head. She could dye her hair brown and not be blonde anymore now. She could dye her hair a different color every other day. I mean, so Agree to disagree. I just wish the hating would stop and point out what you think you need to. We all want this baby girl found, and polygraphs don't mean much to me. I've seen guilty people pass vice versa. Really? You've seen it happen? I doubt that. But my issue is with the last to be with Summer, the timeline, 2 to 3 hours missing, stories change, etc. I know from a traumatic experience that I remember everybody fucking does this, dude. Everybody, see, these are the type of people I'm talking about. Everybody, listen, and this is going to sound like I'm not being empathetic, and that's fine because my audience understands me and they know where I'm coming from. But this always seems to fucking happen. These type of people always make their comments about them. It always comes back to them. Always. These type of people always can't help but be like, me. I had this horrible traumatic experience. Let me tell you something. Everybody has. Everybody has. Everybody's experienced trauma in their life. But that doesn't justify you going on, because that tells me that they're subconsciously aware that they're full of shit. Because you have the people who stick to facts and only facts in their comments, and they don't discuss the trauma in their lives. You know, they just stick to the facts and they discuss. But you think that I'm going to see things your way in some weird, you don't even know you're doing it, but you're trying to manipulate me into seeing your point of view through pity. And it's not in my DNA. I'm not wired that way. I can't do that. Because you're not the only one in the world with trauma. A lot of people have trauma, and they don't use the fact that they have trauma to try to cloud the fact that they're just blasting misinformation on someone's comment section. I just don't. I don't empathize with you for having trauma any more than I do literally anyone else. I mean, they always do it. It kills me. No one can say anyone is guilty of Summer. We're not detectives. But I will say this. They need help and not to have children. That's all. I don't call people names in chat. I just state my opinions. Oh, so it's not about Summer then, is it? Right? I mean, she closes out this comment with, but I will say this. They need help and not to have children. That's all. I mean, that's none of your business. That right there just proves that this is not about Summer for you. This is about you throwing mud at people on the internet who you don't like. I mean, who the fuck are you trying to convince besides yourself of your bullshit? Just incredible to me, man. And it's always like these people all always do the same thing. Like they have the same pattern of behavior. It's very fascinating to me. And then the same person, I don't know if it's the same person. Hold on. Because I have to find this. I have to find this comment because I have to find the little rabbit hole kind of, or the breadcrumb trail that led to that comment that it was hilarious to me. Okay. Yeah. So all I did was ask, this is that Angel P person. I just challenged them with what update from the TBI? When did this update supposedly happen? Because the news quoted them in saying that there were no updates, but as soon as there are, they'll let us know. And then I left the timestamp for them to click on. And then this person's response is this, to basically just being shut down by spreading misinformation in my comment section. Their response is, I don't understand why, if you're about integrity and acceptance, you would say all these things about crime, lines, and lies. It is a discussion channel, and what you are doing is worse, in my opinion. I guess those gifts, memberships, and growth got under your skin. What's up with the Michael Long thing? It's really none of your business how other creators run their channel. Sounds very self-righteous, to be honest. Your words don't back up what you were saying, in my opinion. Again, how many in my opinions are that so far? That's 1, and then 2, and then bashing other creators is apparently your thing. How is what you're doing any different? You are judging without knowing facts, in my honest opinion. The third one is her honest opinion. And I'm not sure if I didn't respond to that. And Mama Bear, you know, she jumped in and said this channel discussed facts that are known. Speculation is dangerous and unhelpful. Put yourself in her parents' shoes. Very simple, very well put. So this is what always happens. What the diehard supporters of the tragedy pimps always end up doing is, when I prove them wrong, when I prove to them that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, once I prove it to them, then it becomes, why are you such a dick? Why are, oh my God, you just attack other creators and blah, 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 and they start fucking crying. And they're not crying about me going and reviewing Crimes, Lines, and Lies. They're not crying about that. They're crying because they just realized that they've been following a channel and have been misinformed for the last 2 years. And they're pissed at me because they made themselves look stupid in my comment section. All I did was ask questions to have them back up their crazy, misinformed statements in my comment section. But they always do it. It never fails. They always do it. Because I promise you, the reason why none of these other creators will come up and talk to me, and the invite's still there for whatever her name is who runs Crimes, Lies, and Lies. The invite is still there. She can come up here anytime she wants. And all I'm going to do is ask questions. And basically my questions are going to be like, verify that this was said. Verify that that is evidence. Because they're going to tell me there's this evidence and there's that evidence. And okay, A, how's that evidence? And B, where'd you get that? Where'd it come from? But they won't come up here because they know that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to face them with their own bullshit. And then there's this one. I dig your channel in all honesty. I like your sense of humor, etc. I just don't agree with you in regards to the Wells. I have tried so many times to be fair and unbiased in regards to their involvement or non-involvement in Summer's disappearance. After observing their behavior and the way they claim things happened, I just can't find any evidence that they didn't. Really? That right there is red flag number 1. Can't find any evidence that they didn't do it. Fuck the fact that there's no evidence that they did. I know they haven't been charged, but there is indeed much more circumstantial evidence to support that they were involved, and that's just the truth. I've watched this case since the day she went missing. They should have been brought up on charges already for simply neglect and abuse. That's just the obvious. See, that's so dangerous. See, that's some BHB bullshit right there. And what circumstantial evidence? I know they haven't been charged, but there's indeed much more circumstantial evidence to support that they were involved. Now, one thing that we learned, I'm going to point this out. One thing that we learned from the Joe Clyde Daniels case, which took place in Tennessee, that in Tennessee, you could absolutely convict someone on circumstantial evidence. You can absolutely, by law, it is legal to convict someone on enough circumstantial evidence. You know what that tells me? It tells me that Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, the TBI, or the FBI, none of them have nearly enough, if any, circumstantial evidence even to charge Don or Candace or Candace's mother. I mean, I know there's no charges, but there's plenty of circumstantial evidence implying that that's the reason why they haven't been charged, is because all of the evidence is circumstantial. But you can absolutely charge and convict someone with circumstantial evidence, because that's how we know, that's how Joe Clyde Daniels' father, was convicted. I streamed that trial. We followed that trial from beginning to end, which took place here in Tennessee. So why haven't they been charged? If you could absolutely charge and convict somebody on circumstantial evidence alone, why haven't they been charged? But here's the thing. I disagree with the statement. What circumstantial evidence? Where's the circumstantial evidence? Because hearsay doesn't count as circumstantial evidence. Speculation does not count as circumstantial evidence. Catching someone on a lie does not constitute as circumstantial evidence. You know, not getting your story straight, that doesn't count as circumstantial evidence. That only counts as only circumstantial evidence that you're a liar, because you have to prove that that person's a liar. Could be that that person just has a bad memory. Could be that that person is a raging drug and drunk addict. I know I said that wrong and worded that wrong. It's too early, and I'm still drinking my coffee. Give me a break. I'm still making sense. It only proves that they lied, or it doesn't even necessarily prove that they lied. It's circumstantial evidence that they lied, but it's in no way connected to, it can no way be used as circumstantial evidence that they had something to do with Summer's disappearance. It's enough to make you side-eye them and open up your suspicions. But if that's all you got to go on, is that Candace, misspoke a few times, or that Candace straight up lied a few times, but never once on anything that actually has to do with Summer's disappearance itself, the fuck does it matter whether or not Jody Sue is at the bottom of the hill or she wasn't? Gives a fuck. And who the fuck is Jody Sue anyway in regards to this case? Nobody that matters is mentioning her. I mean, it's all bullshit. The only thing that matters is what the TBI or the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department releases. That's it. That's all that matters. Yeah, they just, yeah, it boils down to that. They just don't even know what circumstantial evidence means. They don't know, you know, these so-called true crime channels, some of them are just bullshit. And that's the thing, is Crime Lines and Lies is an organized channel, you know? Like, they're good at creating the content that they create, but they're not accurate. It's definitely full of just pure speculation and bullshit. But because they dress it up all nice and deliver it nicely, that just captures people's that's pretty. Oh, well, they must be telling the truth. No, it doesn't mean that they're telling the truth. It doesn't mean that they're telling the truth at all. Cheesy Wheezy, I agree with you. It's just nothing but hating the Wells, man. Like, and that doesn't do anything to help find Summer. But yet they want to just dress up hating the Wells with, you know, we care about Summer. No, you don't. No, you don't. None of these fucking channels do. You know? None of these channels that are throwing mud at the Wells give a fuck about Summer being found. Now I'm going to go over a few other things. And I just don't know what order I'm going to do it in real quick. So let's just start off. Now, this is responsible news reporting. Okay, this is WJHL. And this was yesterday. Okay, this was yesterday. And they did a recap of a timeline of the Summer Wells investigation, just to keep the story out there, just to keep her name out there. Matt Catter, thank you for gifting the 5 memberships. Congrats to Perkywin, Periwinkle Violet, Mama Bear, The Real Sunflower, Cheesy Wheezy, right on, and Gizmo Rules. Excellent. So this is just a recap timeline of what is confirmed, that can be confirmed without biased opinion, of what happened in the Summer Wells case, in the Summer Wells investigation.
A little girl from Hawkins County named Summer Wells. And that's where we begin today on First and 4. I'm Josh Smith, in for Ansley Daniel, who will join us in just a moment. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniel has been covering this story for months and even years now, and has the latest on the timeline as we look back to what led to the disappearance call. Ansley?
Yeah, Josh, 2 years later, after dozens of searches and hundreds of tips, authorities know no more than what they did when a family member reported that a 5-year-old little girl was missing from her home on Ben Hill Road.
Summer Wells is missing.
No more. After dozens of searches and hundreds of tips, authorities know no more than what they did when a family member reported.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Authorities know no more than the day that Summer Wells went missing. I mean, she starts off the whole report like this. Authorities know no more than the day that she went missing.
Reported that a 5-year-old little girl was missing from her home on Ben Hill Road.
Summer Wells is missing. She's 5 years old. She's 4 foot tall, blonde hair. Last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray pants.
Hundreds of searchers from dozens of agencies searched through Beach Creek for weeks looking for Summer.
We will not quit until we find Summer Wells.
The community held prayer circles and vigils. A couple of weeks later, authorities called off the ground search. That's when Summer Wells' mother, Candace Bly, spoke on camera for the first time.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
In July of 2021, the Department of Children's Services removed Summer's older brothers from their home. In October of that year, their father, Don Wells, was arrested for a DUI.
I have lost control. I've done stupid things, and for that I apologize.
That was after filming a Dr. Phil special that aired in November of that year. A few other planned searches happened, and in February of 2022, Don Wells was jailed for violating his probation. In March, Summer's grandmother recalled the night she went missing for the first time.
Summer come in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went in. She said, "Mama, I want to go play with the boys." Candy walked her back to the house, and she asked the boy.
It's just, I hate to interrupt Grandma Candy there, but I just had this really horrible thought that how sad is it? You know, like, I blame to a certain degree Don and Candace. Now hear me out. Don and Candace for leading the lifestyle that they do to a certain degree, for the way people are looking at this case now. Hear me out. Because people are so quick to judge. It's so sad because Don and Candace's lifestyle habits are what they are. Summer's chances of being found are minimized that much more, simply because people are so quick to judge. And when they're judging the parents, they are inadvertently dismissing this child for dead because they are thinking that the parents did something to the child. And again, and I've said it many times, when you are implying that somebody did something to this child, you're implying that this child is dead. And that diminishes hope drastically that this child, for people to find this child, for this child to be found, it diminishes hope drastically. So it's so sad and it's such a shame that this guy going to jail and, you know, violating his probation and going on YouTube channels drunk and doing everything that he's doing. It's really sad that that happened. You know, it's really sad that these things are happening, because that's not her fault. It's just not her fault that her parents behave the way that they do. And it's not her fault I mean, yeah, her parents are the way that they are, and it's nobody's fault but their own. But if we were less judgmental and we were only focused on the facts, so many of us would still have so much more hope that Summer is found. I wish that Summer had it better. You know, I mean, it's not her fault that her parents make the choices that they make. And she's paying the ultimate price. Because the power of her name being out there has, and the positive that can come from that has been wiped out practically. Because now what's tacked on to Summer Wells' name is drama and bullshit. And that's not Summer's fault. And yet she's the one paying the ultimate price, because there's a whole subculture of people, the majority of people, and that's sad, the majority of people who are discussing this case think that she's dead and are spreading the and perpetuating the narrative that she's dead. That's what I mean by Summer paying the ultimate price. When all of us in a perfect world could just use our common sense and just go, you know what? Like, we haven't seen any evidence that she's dead. We haven't seen anything to indicate that she's no longer with us. We haven't seen anything to indicate that there's no possibility that she was abducted. And unfortunately, it's just not as entertaining as watching the Don and Candace shit show on YouTube. And that's a sad thing, man. It's a really sad thing.
The boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
10 months into the Amber Alert, the lead detective on the case said he had never worked a missing child's case of this magnitude.
I check tip line and voicemail when I first get here. I do phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got. I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got, follow-ups on them.
On June 15th, 2022, the investigation hit the 1-year mark.
When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. Unfortunately, instead, day after day ended in frustration and disappointment. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later.
That was also the last time we publicly.
And that was also this very same press conference where that very same spokesperson said that the reason why that they hit dead ends day after day was because those tip lines were flooded with people's bullshit. Literally getting in the way of them being able to do their jobs. Literally getting in the way of the only people qualified to find out what happened to Summer and where she is. And this community made it impossible for them to do it. Thanks to Chris McDonough. Yes, Cherry, I agree with you on that.
Publicly heard from Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
We will continue to conduct target searches in the Beach Creek area as new information is developed. We'll also continue to follow up on any legitimate leads. And it's been the goal of this team since day one to find Summer.
Don Wells was released from jail in October of 2022. and he broke his silence in February ahead of Summer's 7th birthday.
It's just another day without her. I mean, I don't really want to celebrate her birthday without her. She was definitely going to be tall. She'd probably be as tall as me, I'd say, because she was growing so fast. And I'm sure she would be the same person.
Later that month, after more than a
Oh,
year.
gee, that's wow. Yeah. I mean, Summer looked too old in that picture, in that fake picture that is not really a real picture. Summer looked too old. How the fuck do you know? Father knows how fast she grew. How the fuck do you know how fast she grows? And you just heard her father say that she was growing so fast that he feels that she's going to end up being as tall as him. Don's a tall guy. I mean, you all kill me, dude, with this shit, dude, sometimes, man.
Year of civil court battles, a judge ruled the entirety of a roughly $40,000 Summer Wells reward fund go to the Children's Advocacy Center of the 3rd Judicial District. 2 years later, Summer's parents are now in Arkansas. Her brothers are in DCS custody, and where she is remains unknown.
I mean, so that was just a quick recap. That's just a quick recap of the timeline. There's still a couple of more videos that I want to go over. And Sherry's bringing up chasing. So I want to bring this up real quick. I want to point this out.
It was 2 years ago on this very night that we were here on the air at 11 o'clock telling you about a little girl named Summer Wells who'd seemed to disappear.
And tonight, still no sign of the Hawkins County girl 2 years later. Her disappearance started as an endangered child alert that was then upgraded to an Amber Alert the next day. The image on the right is the first photo we ever saw of Summer.
And then on the left, there is that what we're hearing called an age progressed image that shows what she could look like now at the age of 7. That photo, the most recent development released by investigators who say they really don't have anything new that they can publicly release at the 2-year mark. But that is not stopping people from hoping that someday Summer will be found.
News Channel 11's Clarice Shaley went to a vigil for Summer 2 years after she vanished. Clarice?
Over the past 2 years, we've covered numerous visuals for Summer Wells. Tonight on the
Bro, it's vigil. And on that note, I want to be clear that this vigil, quote unquote, that they're going to was not considered or called a vigil at any point by the people running it. It's just what the news called it. It's just what the news called it. So I just want to be very clear about that.
The anniversary of her disappearance, people gathered once again, determined to keep her story in the public eye. Most days, Warriors Path State Park is full of people having fun outdoors. But Thursday night, the park became a gathering place for 2 separate vigils.
I'm a baffled, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Gerda K, congrats. Christy M, Sharon N, Kathy P's, let's talk about everything. And Remy. Congrats, guys. And thank you so much. I'm a baffled.
In honor of a missing little girl.
And I never imagined that 2 years later that we'd be here with no answers.
No answers, no suspects, no explanation about what happened to Summer Wells.
But it does become very, very frustrating.
Hey, look who it is. Look who it is.
Feeling like she's just out there lost and alone.
Many here said they want more transparency from law enforcement in Summer Wells' case.
We often hear that this is an active investigation, but to the public, it's we're active and what is happening on the law enforcement side.
Some here also pause to remember that Summer Wells is just one of many who've never come home.
If you look at the statistics and the data,
it's really sad to see that the number of people that go missing every day.
But tonight wasn't about an investigation. It was about a little girl.
So we're going to show up and hold the space until as long as we need to.
Till she's found, till she comes home.
Warriors Path State Park is significant in the Summer Wells case. She went swimming at the park the same day she was reporting missing from her home.
Clarice Shelley, thank you. We want to show you the photos of Summer one more time. You are urged to reach out to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation with any credible tips. You are asked to only submit something credible, not social media rumors. That does not help them. Please submit something credible, not social media rumors. That does not help them. To only submit something credible, not social media rumors. That does not help them. This contact information for the TBI is there on your screen and on WJHL.com.
Okay, so that when I saw that last night, I was so relieved. I can't remember the last time that I was so relieved about being wrong. There are times where I love being wrong. And I want to be very clear that I was very skeptical about Chasing and the others that she went with going out there, because I was worried about it contributing to drama that's going to be out there, even though I don't think that they would have directly done that. I think that other YouTubers with shitty intentions would have made what they were doing look like what it wasn't. And I just didn't want to see that happen. And I didn't want their efforts to be tarnished. I didn't want their efforts to look and be lumped up with everyone else's, which I felt if drama took place. And I still feel that if drama had taken place, that would have inevitably happened. And it would have made me really upset that they would have been lumped up with that. But so I was just like, why do it? You know, if there's the chance of doing that, why do it? But they were dead set on it, and they had full conviction and pure intentions, and it absolutely worked out the way that they wanted it to. It absolutely appears that way. I love that there was another group of YouTubers that were there too, and they got no press at all. I was really, really glad that this local news station in Kingsport had the judgment to give press and give exposure to the right YouTubers, to the right people. And they weren't even pointed out as YouTubers. They were just people out there trying to spread awareness about Summer and other missing kids. And that's what they were depicted as in this news story. And I'm really, really relieved about that and really grateful for that. And a big shout out and much love to Chasing and all the others that went out there. I'm really glad that it worked out the way that they planned on it working out, the way that they hoped that it worked out. And I'm really, really glad that happened. And I'm really grateful that I was wrong about how that turnout would be. So that's awesome. It's just awesome. Because I've always been so frustrated with these other shitty YouTubers who were trying to get press and they got it. And that helped with that contributed to all of this bullshit too, in the worst kind of way. So but they've kind of made up for it, these local news sources. Here's an example.
2 years ago to find Summer Wells is still active. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Despite nationwide attention received by her disappearance, there are still no answers as to what happened to the little girl. The most significant recent development came yesterday when an age-progressed image was released showing what Summer could look like now at the age of 7. That's the photo on the left of your screen.
Summer was 5 when she disappeared. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says there are no new details they can publicly release. But we have team coverage tonight. Clarice Shaley is at a vigil to help find Summer and honor other missing people.
But first, we'll go to Ansley Daniel, who spoke with Don Wells, Summer's father. Ansley, you've been tracking this case from the start.
Yeah, Josh and Sarah, here we are 2 years later, still trying to find out what happened to Summer. And tonight, her father is seeking some answers of his own.
I'm just having to put my faith completely in God and know that He has a better plan. And that's pretty much where I'm at. My wife is still struggling.
A lot has changed for the Wells family over the last 2 years since their daughter Summer went missing from their Beach Creek home in Hawkins County.
Social media have come out, and protested at my job, everywhere we go. And
I mean, there's video evidence right there of MGL's dumbass and all those other idiots outside of his job trying to get him fired. There's video evidence from them of them doing it. I really wish that they would take legal action. I'd really like to see them do that.
So it's hard for us to get any work or anything in Eastern Tennessee.
Wells says he and his wife Candace have been in Arkansas on and off for the last few months, where he's been working in construction. He also says they've been working with the Department of Children's Services there to get their 3 older sons back. They've been in Tennessee DCS custody since the month after Summer was reported missing.
I think they're scared of our house because of what happened, and is one of the issues. So we would like to buy another house here in Arkansas.
The house he's referring to on Ben Hill Road is where his daughter went missing from.
We couldn't understand what happened to Summer. The police couldn't understand, and they were questioning us. At times they were hard on us, and other times they weren't. It just depending on what police agency was there at the time.
2 years later, he and Candace have no clues as to where Summer is.
We try to bounce things off of each other all the time. We might have talks about some of the drug activity that was going on at the time, and was going on right after her disappearance for quite a while.
I mean, he's not lying. He's kind of, I mean, he's on TV, so he's kind of holding back the whole truth. And I don't blame him. That's not necessary to go over, but at least he's being honest about substance abuse that took place before Summer went missing and after. He's being very forthcoming about that.
But yeah, there's nothing new.
Don says the family stays in touch with law enforcement through their private investigators.
About 2 months ago.
And why don't these haters ever want to talk about the fact that they have their own private investigators, that are working with law enforcement, and they're not talking to the press. They're not talking to YouTubers. They're not doing anything. They're just focused on finding Summer. These are people that are working on behalf of Don and Candace to find Summer. Why don't they get any credit for that? Why is nobody focused on that?
They talk to our private investigators, and the FBI did, and they shared what they could with us. But they're just trying to come up with any new information or leads that they possibly could. And so far, we just haven't been able to come up with anything.
As 2 years pass with no new information publicly released, Don says the emotional toll is weighing on the family, especially Candace.
She's been burnt by so many people that want to, supposedly, interview her or help and stuff, and then basically turn on.
Look at that fucking idiot. I mean, just look at that fucking loudmouth jackass doing what she does.
Her in every imaginable way. You know, she's been hurt deeply by these kind of things, you know, plus.
And this guy has done, he's blown up a couple times, you know, lost his temper. I mean, can you blame him? But for the most part, for the last 2 years, he's for the most part refused to say anything negative about the very people that got him fired. But nobody wants to pay attention to that. People just want to focus on the fact on the 1 or 2 times that he blew up. It was like 2 times at least, but but it was no more than 3 that I can remember. But I only remember 2. I can only think of 2. But I mean, why are they not focused on, you know, well, a human being could only take so much. Somebody who's been through, because I mean, whether or not it's his own fault or not, but going to jail for all that time, coming out of going to jail, you know, your daughter's missing, you don't know what happened to her, you know, at least there's no proof of it, but we have to assume that he doesn't know what happened to her because I don't see any reason to believe that he does yet so far. But nobody wants to look at the last 2 years as a whole unless it's convenient to their narrative going, it's been 2 years. Why don't you finally tell law enforcement what you did? But they don't want to look at the fact that like they've been harassing this guy for 2 years. And then like just in the last couple months, he's blown up all over YouTube. But prior to that, he just got drunk, said dumb things, tripped over his own words here and there, but nothing to do with Summer's disappearance. Just went up there and talked about things that were irrelevant to Summer's case and assumed that we all wanted to know this stuff.
The thought of, you know, we lost our daughter, and you know our boys are in custody also with the CPS.
He says they haven't been able to talk to their sons.
Well,
pay attention to this part real closely, what Don says here, because this is interesting to me.
At first, we were allowed to talk to them and everything, and then, but well, we haven't been able to talk to them for about 6 months. No contact.
Okay. Let me play that one more time.
Well, at first we were allowed to talk to them and everything, and then, but well, we haven't been able to talk to them for about 6 months. No contact or anything like that. And that's all we want to do is be able to tell them that we love them.
So Don says it's only been in the last 6 months. Of the last 2 years, it's only been in the last 6 months that they haven't been able to have any contact with their boys who are in CPS custody. Think about that for a second. Okay? They all up until 6 months ago, for a year and a half, they've been able to have contact with their boys. We all assumed they didn't. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I thought that the kids were removed and they had no contact. Now, I'm sure that there were probably stipulations to the contact that they had, supervised visits, supervised phone calls, whatever. None of our business. But what I'm pointing out, what I'm trying to say is if law enforcement, and it's just my opinion, I'm only speculating. I don't work for CPS and I'm not a cop. I don't know. But I'm of the opinion that if law enforcement suspected them, like really suspected them, not just, hey, everyone's a suspect, we're looking at everybody and everything's on the table, not that kind of suspect, but if they actually were people of interest in Summer's disappearance and they were looking to, hey, we got a gut feeling and all we got to do is prove it. It was that type of situation. I don't think that they would let them have any contact with their boys. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the state would find it responsible to allow people who are suspected of their own child's disappearance to have any contact with their other children. I just don't believe that would be the case. And it's only been in the last 6 months. Now let's talk about that for a second. Why only the last 6 months? Now, if I had to speculate as to why it was only in the last 6 months, I'd say it has to do with mainly Dawn's behavior publicly. Dawn showing up on YouTube channels. Dawn clearly admitting on YouTube channels that he's intoxicated. Things that are on the internet that could be forever, that at some point their kids might see it. That would be detrimental. That would likely be detrimental to a child's emotional well-being. The state's job right now is to look after those boys and their best interests and look out for their emotional and mental well-being and physical well-being, of course. Make sure they're fed, blah, 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 all those other things. But I'm just not, I would say that would be the reason why they don't have contact. Because they can't, I mean, if I'm a CPS worker and I'm looking out for these kids and I keep seeing their dad getting wasted drunk on YouTube channels, cussing, screaming the N-word, and in all fairness, he apologized for it, but you can't unring the bell, right? It still happened, and the internet's forever. CPS is going to have to do what they have to do responsibly. They have to look out for the kids. This is an interesting comment here. I don't trust CPS. People could call in, make somebody's life in a living hell, even when there's no proof, and the kids are the ones who suffer. That could also play into why they don't have contact with the kids as of only 6 months ago. That could absolutely contribute to that. It could just be that these idiots keep calling CPS and going, did you see Don? He's drinking, blah, blah, blah. He's doing this. He's doing that. And so with all of this bullshit, it seems like the most responsible thing for CPS to do is go, best thing to do here is just protect them from all of it. No contact until all of this is resolved, because this is not going to lead up to a stable home environment. There's nothing indicating to us that these boys are going to be moving into a stable home environment. But that has nothing to do with Summer. That's just more of the bullshit that just has Summer's name slapped all over it. But it has nothing to do with her disappearance. I mean, so, but my main point being, Why only in the last 6 months? We've already covered that, but why did law enforcement, why did CPS feel it was fine if these people are such such suspects as to what happened to Summer? Why would they risk the emotional well-being of 3 boys being in contact with somebody they suspect of murdering their sister? Why would they do that? I mean, it just, nobody wants to explore these possibilities.
And we're rooting for them, and we're working on, things to get them back.
Hope is hard to hold on to after all this time, but Don says he's clinging to faith.
Whatever the outcome is, I have hope in God, and one day, either sooner or later, I will be with my daughter again.
I've reached out to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, the TBI, the FBI, and the Wells family's private investigators. They all declined an interview, but the TBI did answer some questions via email. Those answers, however, don't bring us any closer to knowing what happened to Summer. Josh, Sarah? Those answers, however, all declined an interview, but the TBI did answer some questions via email. Those answers, however, don't bring us any closer to knowing what happened to Summer. Josh, Sarah?
Yeah, so dumbass that was in my comment section last night who said that there was a TBI update. That's not a TBI update. Just so you know, they answered a couple of questions, but those answers don't bring us any closer to what happened to Summer. You just heard her say it. That was the person who was directly in contact via email with the TBI. So it's incredible, man. And I got one more news story that took place. This is from WCYB News 5.
Two years ago tonight, Summer Wells went missing from her Hawkins County home.
The suffering in the Summer Wells community is palpable. The pain of having a little girl just disappear without a trace, made even worse by the online harassment and attacks from outside the area and online. People accusing those of trying to help Summer of somehow being involved in her disappearance simply because they knew her and loved her. Many now refusing to speak on camera because of the threats they've received. One woman is
Man, I love that this news station went with this angle and pointed this out.
finally breaking her silence after more than a year in hopes of inspiring others to pray and to send a message to Summer.
And you are loved and you are missed so very much.
Robin Lane, Summer Wells Sabbath School teacher,
Summer is just the most amazing little girl.
had a one-of-a-kind friendship with this little ball of energy.
Yes, we really clicked because Summer is just kind of silly and goofy, and I am too. You can ask people who know me; they know that I'm just a silly, goofy girl. And so I think we just kind of clicked in that way, that she could hang out with me and we would just laugh at the same stuff and giggle at silly, stupid things.
The giggling silenced. 2 years now, with the community still looking for answers.
We miss her a lot. Just we miss the love, the hugs. I miss her hugs so much. She was a very loving child.
A child who thrived when she felt that love right back.
Yeah, she really did. She came to me a lot and just wanted to be held and wanted to get attention, and I love to give attention, so it worked out good.
It's been a life-changing 2 years for Summer's special friend and teacher.
I lost my mom and my dad since Summer went missing. So just add that on top of losing a little girl and missing her so much. It has been overwhelming. And I don't sleep a lot. There's a lot of times where I just lay in bed and I just pray.
A hole in her heart for those lost, and the pain of not knowing where could this vibrant child be. The smiling little girl who gifted Robin a necklace so proudly on Mother's Day.
I just felt like, you know, the summer is kind of like a daughter to me. It feels just like I lost a child that I just was so precious and so dear that that's what it feels like.
But Robin says even when things are darkest, she sees something bigger.
I've already been inspired so many times by people who have told me that praying for summer has made them start praying again. That because they're praying for summer, that it has made them start talking to God again. And they might have been angry at God, they might have stopped talking to God, but because this little girl's missing and they care about her, they're praying for her. And in the process of praying for summer, they're starting to have a closer walk with the Lord themselves.
That inspiration has helped her forgive those who've used Summer's case as clickbait, silencing the voices of those speaking out for Summer, hoping to help in her safe return.
And it makes everyone just want to back off and hands off because they don't want to be next. And I really feel like the answer to that is to pray for God to soften their hearts and to help them because they're hurting people too, you know? Initially, I would get angry, and now I'm just like trying to view them as people who need prayer just as much as little Summer does.
And as Robin prays for Summer, she has this message for her.
Summer, if you are out there, I just want you to know, little girl, that you are treasured and that you are adored and you are loved and you are missed so very much. And I just want you to know that we are not giving up on finding you, that we are not going to lose hope in finding you. And I just want you to know that I am praying to our Heavenly Father every day for you, and I will not stop. Nobody is giving up, and I know I definitely won't give up. So just be strong, little one. Hang in there, and don't forget those Bible verses. Remember them. God is a very present help in trouble, that He will be with you, that He will answer you. Just cry out to Him. We love you.
Okay. So, couple of comments here that I want to address. Perry Winkle, the one I have highlighted here. I beg to differ. There is a statement on the TBI page. Literally, it doesn't say an update of sorts. Just saying report to them, not to Ronnie Lawson. That tells me a whole lot. I have not seen this. We'll look into that in just a second. But Terry Dean says, Robin knows the Wells. Where does she think Summer is? Here's the thing. This is what people don't understand. And Terry Dean, I see you in my chat a lot, and I don't mean this to attack you. I really don't. But it really bugs me when people have this way of thinking. What does her knowing the Wells have anything to do with where she thinks Summer is? I don't think Robin thinks Summer is anywhere necessarily. Robin comes off to me as somebody who cared about Summer, period. That's it. Just cared about her and is allowing law enforcement to do their job and has put her faith in God to help guide law enforcement in finding Summer. Now, I'm not saying that's where my sentiments lie. I'm saying, and it doesn't matter whether you believe in God or whatever, it doesn't matter what you believe in or what your faith is. Robin is coming off to me as somebody who is simply having faith that law enforcement have the best resources to find Summer, and she is praying for them and praying for everyone who is caring about Summer. And she's grateful. She's showing gratitude that praying for Summer has brought people back to prayer because her faith is very important to her. The power of God in her eyes is very important. And I think that is a very commendable trait coming from a good-hearted person like herself. She's wearing scrubs. It comes off to me that she probably works in some sort of healthcare industry where she helps people. I don't know exactly what she does. If you know what she does, please don't say it in my chat. I don't need to know. I'm just trying to make the point that she is someone who clearly has a good heart and is just trying to focus on her faith and her family, and is a strong pillar in her church community. And in going after her in church the way that they did was disgusting, and it made a lot of people. And this was the thing is and again, I'm really glad that everything happened with the with the Summer's Day thing that took place. I'm really glad that that worked out and it was as positive as they hoped it would be. I'm really grateful for that. But at the same time, it was under the impression that nobody in the community really knew what happened to Summer. But according to people in this community, based on the news reports that we just watched, people they don't want to discuss this stuff with outsiders. So I'm not surprised there are so many people that that are just like, I don't want to talk about it, or just simply nope, I don't know, never heard of her. It's quite possible. All right. So, let's see. All right. From the TBInewsroom.com. On June 15th, 2021, Summer Wells disappeared, leading to one of the most exhaustive and involved missing child cases we've ever investigated. Though we have let me just go ahead and I'm going to share this so you guys can see it. So let's check this TBI update, because I have not read this yet. But I'm confident that it's not going to say anything much different than what I've been saying here. Though we have no details to share, rest assured we're continuing to work with the FBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to chase every lead. Ask every question and search every place we can find Summer. We won't stop until we have answers. And real quick, I want to address the comment itself. Periwinkle, when you said I beg to differ, there's a statement in the TBI page. Literally, it doesn't say an update of sorts, just saying report to them, not to Ronnie Lawson. That shouldn't tell you a whole lot, and that shouldn't be red flags or red alerts. That's not to discredit Ronnie Lawson in any way, shape, or form. The contact number, the tip line, has always been 1-800-TBI-FIND. That means that the tip line is run by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And the reason why that is because the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department does not have the resources to handle all of the tips. TBI is more equipped, but probably still doesn't have the resources to handle all of the flooding of the tips that come in. So I wouldn't look at I haven't gotten to the part where you're saying it says don't call Ronnie Lawson, but if I had to guess why they're saying don't call Ronnie Lawson, it means leave the dude alone. That's not where the tip line is. Report the tip line. This is the way we've organized how this investigation is going to work. We're going to sift through the tips, and we're going to inform Ronnie Lawson, who is in charge of the investigation, of any tips that seem credible, and then we're going to investigate those things accordingly. That's all that means. That's all that means to me. They've always discouraged you calling the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department with tips on what happened to Summer. Hey, what's up, Tracy Ann Chasey? I was just talking about you. I don't see that as being a red alert situation. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just saying that if we apply a little bit more thought as to trying to understand why that is, instead of jumping to the worst possible conclusion, you know, I realize a lot of people don't like the way Ronnie Lawson has handled this case, but we really don't have enough information to condemn Ronnie Lawson. We all, as far as I'm concerned, I have no reason to doubt Ronnie Lawson's ability to investigate this case properly, other than, or being in charge of it, other than the one time where he said that they stopped cooperating and they lawyered up. That would be Don and Candace. We know that that's not true. We know that that's not true. So I don't know if he lied because there was a strategy behind that, but there's nothing besides that that indicates that to me. And I find it, as I said yesterday, I find it to be coincidental, or more than coincidental, I should say, that the TBI held a press conference after all of the public going nuts over that. So they held a press conference after that, probably most likely to play cleanup after that statement. He could have been mistaken, could have been confusing it with another case for all we know. I mean, I doubt that's the case, but I'm just saying. So just to kind of try to control things like that happening in the chat or in the comment section. This is why the TBI have more resources. They're a statewide investigative unit or agency, and they have more resources to handle all of the information that comes in. It goes on to say that Summer remains, well, they said, we're continuing to work with the FBI and Hawkins County Sheriff's Department to chase every lead, ask every question, and search every place we can to find Summer. We won't stop until we have answers. Again, that's very telling. Now, this is a statement directly from the spokesperson for the TBI. Okay? And you guys are not understanding something. Not you guys. I'm talking about the tragedy pimp assholes that just think it's fun to just call the TBI for whatever fucking reason because they think they're sleuthing and they think they're helping, and you're not fucking helping. Because it's so sad when I hear these news reporters go, only credible tips. You know, most of these idiots don't even understand the difference between a credible tip and what's not credible. They think that their theory is so grand that it's a credible tip. But the thing is, what you have to understand is they chase, quote, they chase every lead and ask every question and search every place. They have to look into every single thing that gets reported. So every time you call, 1-800-TBI-FINE, and they chase down something that means absolutely nothing because it's based on a rumor or some bullshit somebody said on YouTube, they're taking resources away from something that could be credible. It slows them down from whatever path they were already on. Because ethically, they have to chase every lead, ask every question, and search every place. Summer remains the subject of an ongoing Amber Alert. Thanks to forensic artists with National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, we have an age progression image that shows what Summer may look like today. We ask the public to help us by refraining from sharing speculation posted by or discussed by non-official sources and reporting only credible tips or information to 1-800-TBI-FIND. And this is all the other updates throughout the investigation. I'm not going to go over that. Actually, I'll go over some of these questions. Is this considered a cold case? No. Investigative work continues to occur almost daily. Is the Amber Alert still active? Yes. An Amber Alert. Now, I think this is okay. Yeah, these are frequently asked questions. Okay. Yes, an Amber Alert remains active until a child is located. When was Summer last seen? Her mother reports last seeing her on the afternoon of June 15th at their home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we will not provide any additional information regarding the timeline. Have you searched the home and property around the residence? Yes, more than once, including the basement, crawl spaces, all vehicles, outbuildings, barrels, and other items located on the property. Additionally, canine teams specializing in a variety of search methods have also been utilized. Pay attention to that, folks. They've searched the property several times. They found nothing. They utilized canine teams specializing in a variety of search methods. That means they used canine teams looking for just a little girl, a cadaver, anything. Have you searched the phones and computers belonging to the Wells family? Yes. Working alongside the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, numerous subpoenas and search warrants have been obtained, resulting in any available digital evidence being collected, searched, and documented. This includes social media accounts. Now, I remember Don and Candace saying that this is absolutely true, that this actually happened. All right. Now, and I remember, I think it was Candace that said, I don't know why they got warrants because we were giving them all our tech. We were giving them everything that they wanted. Right? So the reason why that is, because a lot of people want to jump to the conclusion and be like, oh, well, they're, they don't go out and get warrants unless they suspect someone. No, they get warrants to cover their asses. They'll ask for it voluntarily, but they're always going to have a warrant for something that they search. So that if other evidence comes up later and then they actually have enough to charge and arrest someone and then try them in court, their defense doesn't come up and go, well, did you have a warrant? Well, no, we didn't have a warrant because they volunteered their tech to us. Well, that's not what my client says. My client says that you took it, said you had a warrant. Now it's their word against theirs. What's a jury going to do? A jury's going to go, well, I mean, if they had gotten a warrant, then we wouldn't even be sitting here wondering. That's not evidence. Seems to me like there's even the slightest possibility that they obtained this information illegally. We can't convict them. So they cover their asses and get warrants. Regardless of it being voluntary or not, they get warrants. We learned this from the Letitia Stalk trial, people. And, literally every other fucking trial that takes place that we talk about. Have you analyzed cell phone data? Yes. Cell phone data and cell tower data have been analyzed. Have you searched the flower bed? There was not a flower bed. Summer's mother and grandmother stated that she was planting flowers with them shortly before she was seen. The flowers were planted in pots. And yes, the pots were examined. Bro, I love this right here. This is amazing. How was I not aware of this? How many ground searches have been conducted? 3 large-scale searches have occurred. Dozens of other targeted searches have been conducted over the last year as a result of investigators following up on leads. Have you searched waterways in the area? Yes. Dive teams were brought in to search bodies of water in the area on several different occasions. Have you conducted aerial searches? Yes. Numerous searches from the air have been completed. Additionally, drones were used to map the area and to pinpoint bodies of water as well as any other points of interest. Will additional searches be conducted? Investigators will continue to search points of interest as they are developed, as well as follow up on all tips regarding Summer's whereabouts. Have you collected and reviewed surveillance video? Yes, we've collected surveillance photos and videos from a variety of locations. Additionally, the entire area was canvassed in an effort to locate any residential cameras that weren't voluntarily reported. Please keep in mind that the Beach Creek area of Hawkins County is very rural, with few businesses and no traffic cameras. Have you questioned the parents? Yes, both have been questioned more than once, which is exactly what Dawn has said, which is exactly what Candace has said. Have you questioned others that were in the home at the time Summer went missing? Yes, Summer's brothers have been interviewed along with others who stayed in the home in the months before her disappearance. Have you questioned neighbors and searched their properties? Yes. Have you questioned registered sex offenders in the area? Yes. Is there evidence that Summer was abducted? None that we've developed at this stage. However, we continue to investigate all possibilities. That's not a flat out no. The other 2 questions were a flat out yes and a yes or no question, but this being possibly a yes or no question, this very responsible spokesperson for the TBI decided to elaborate because they know that rumors and speculation can fucking spin around like crazy and get all of these crazy people on the internet all riled up and start spinning bullshit narratives. So with that question, is there evidence that Summer was abducted? Her answer being none that we've developed at this stage. So it's not a simple yes or no. It's an ongoing investigation. Now, they said currently, yes, that's true. There is no evidence at this stage, which is a year ago, by the way, where this was updated. However, we continue to investigate all possibilities. That means they don't know. That simply means they don't know whether or not Summer was abducted. Is the FBI involved? Yes, they've been involved since the Amber Alert was issued. Additionally, in the first week, the FBI Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team responded to the area. FBI agents continue to assist with the investigation. And the Amber Alert was issued the day after Summer was reported missing. Why did you release information about a Toyota truck? An individual who travels through the area regularly as part of his job stated that he recalls possibly seeing a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. The individual stated that the truck might have been parked in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th or Tuesday, June 15th. The vehicle was not captured on surveillance cameras. In an effort to cover all bases and identify the driver, the TBI, in agreement with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, released the vehicle description. Our hope was that the individual might have information that could help the investigation. The driver has not come forward, nor have the hundreds of vehicles reported to us as matching the description panned out. So, just a guy or the owner of that truck that may or may not have actually been there, and they'd like to talk to them to see if they can add any more information than the person who says they saw the truck. That's all that means. So, I mean, I don't know what else you people need, man. Like, you people who just want to speculate on crazy shit. It just doesn't make sense. Like, that's strictly from the investigators. And it couldn't be more clear. I mean, True Crime Dime, you're saying, I think their phones pinged. He was saying no other pings were detected. That was coming from Don. Take it for what you want. And you're saying you believe him. I have no reason to not believe Don when it comes to that, because everything so far that Don has said in reference to the investigation has been consistent with what the TBI has released publicly. And as a matter of fact, Don has even said, I don't want to say too much because he doesn't want to hinder the investigation. In his heart, he doesn't want to. But being Don, he keeps going on YouTube channels. But he still seems to control information on the investigation as far as him talking about it. Now, that's not to say that it's what he's doing still doesn't hinder the investigation, maybe not in a direct way, but I believe that it does. I believe that Don going on YouTube channels absolutely hinders the investigation. I don't think that he means to do it, but he's got to fucking knock that shit off. Exactly. Blinders on anything that diverts them from their theories, which brings them views. I mean, that shuts down anything that people are saying. Right, True Crime Time. That's a good point. I mean, why would he say that if it's false? I mean, he says shit to incriminate his character all the time. All the fucking time. Yet not one thing that incriminates him that would implicate him as far as what happened to Summer. Not one thing in 2 years. And I'm saying, I'm not saying that they didn't do anything. I'm saying that based on everything that's made available to us that's credible would indicate that they didn't do anything. That's all I'm saying. We don't have all the information. We don't have the evidence that the TBI has or the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department has or the FBI has. But they've clearly conducted a very thorough investigation so far. Clearly, without a doubt. I mean, that statement from the TBI, I'm going to reference to every single time that some bullshit rumor comes up that these people are being suspected. I mean, the TBI confirmed confirmed that they passed their polygraph tests. They confirmed it. And they did this yesterday. Yeah, it's all pride, Terry Dean. It's all pride. It's all bullshit pride. You know? Because now it's 2 years later, and what they do is they double down. Because here they are, just like that fucking asshole that I reviewed yesterday. She starts off her live stream going, I did not think this was going to go on for 2 years. Damn it, I can't believe it's been 2 years and we don't have any answers when it comes to summer. That's the thought that comes to my mind when I think it's been 2 years. How sad it is that we're no closer to any answers. But that's not what she was saying. She, like every other tragedy pimp, is going to say, I didn't think it'd take 2 years, because they think that Dawn and Candace should be in jail right now awaiting trial for Summer's murder, which we have no idea even took place. But they always do this. It's been 2 years. How long does it take them? I mean, and you know, even if they were building a case against Dawn and Candace, man, that shit takes forever. Like, you see how difficult it is for them with every update that they've publicly given us. They're like, we're fucking nowhere. They've admitted to that. They're like, we're fucking nowhere. We're not going to give you details of our investigation, but I can tell you the results, and the results mean we're fucking nowhere. We don't know what the hell happened to this little kid. And it's social media's fault. Right. If Dawn and Candace are arrested, they'll still find a way to be like, oh, they were involved. They paid them. Paid them what? With what? Right. If they found nothing in their cell phones, you know what I mean? If they didn't find anything in their cell phones, what does that tell you? Not anything. Yeah, Annabella Roma, that's because they're comparing these cases to fucking true crime miniseries that you see on fucking HBO or, you know, Hulu or what the fuck ever. You're saying people are always mad when LE doesn't have the answers on a case in a couple of weeks. Think of the research and red tape, folks. Right. I mean, they have to collect enough evidence to build an airtight case. And that's if it's an arrest. A missing persons case could take for fucking ever. But these people are so dead set, even if they were building a case against Dawn and Candace, it's been so hard for them to be able to pick to build a case at all. So far. Who knows how long it would take to build a case against them? Who knows how long it would take? I can't believe it's been 2 years. I run a true crime channel, but I have no fucking idea how long it takes to collect evidence and build a case so that you can convict them in court beyond a reasonable doubt. And in the meantime, I'm just going to conduct my channel like as if their rights don't matter and innocent until proven guilty is not even a concept, and we just don't fucking agree with it. Because that way, you know, they could just slap handcuffs on them, throw them in jail, and then they could be fucking acquitted as soon as they go to trial and waste resources, time, and money that's used to get justice. I mean, what? God, man, no wonder people don't respect this community, dude, because it's just full of fucking people who are so involved in crime cases, but they don't have the first fucking clue of how the justice system works. We look like a bunch of assholes out here, a bunch of fucking morons out here. You know? Like, you want to sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, the fucking dude from Canada, Luca Magnotta, he got busted by sleuths online. So we can all get together. There's power in numbers. So we can all just and just, if we all put our idiot brains together, we could make one good brain. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You're just creating more stupidity. More stupidity. Period. That's it. Just more dumb stupidity. Yeah, like, you know how much good Gray Hughes does, bro? That's a bummer. And no, Gray Hughes isn't grifting, because Gray Hughes donates a shit ton of money to different organizations that he understands, because Gray totally understands how the justice system works and how investigations work. Gray totally understands that stuff. And he'll collect donations, and of course, he's earned donations for the hard work that he does on his channel. Absolutely 100%. But it's not wrong of him to be disappointed with a lack of donations, because he does things productive with those donations that help get victims justice. And so here we are, you know, I mean, and Gray's a guy that takes accountability. He's like, well, maybe I'm just not doing a good enough job as a YouTuber. But no, it's people are, we're a joke, man. We're a fucking joke to the rest of the world. And you know what happens in the meantime? The victims become a joke to the rest of the world. Because we're the only ones really speaking up for them, aren't we? We're the only ones talking about these victims, aren't we? This is the true crime community. We're the only ones actually, you know, it's like a genre. And we're the only ones actually discussing these victims. But the victims are the ones that always end up paying the price if we have this platform and we have this ability to actually create and spread awareness amongst people who don't even follow true crime necessarily. And considering the source, who outside of this community is going to take us seriously if they just watch us for one day and how we go at each other and bicker at each other? And yeah, to some degree, I'm included in that. But I also can't just sit by and just watch these people destroy the image of creators and subscribers who actually care about these victims. I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm not going to stop doing this. I mean, if it's an uphill battle, it's an uphill battle. That's fine. And God forbid somebody like Gray gives up. You know, that would break my heart. That would be one of the most devastating and discouraging things that I would experience on and being part of this community, is seeing Gray Hughes at one point be like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't even want to fucking do this anymore. That would break my fucking heart. But yeah, I mean, people think we're a joke. They laugh at us because of people like these tragedy pimp creators. I mean, look at what's happened. And I didn't really know exactly what direction I was going to take this, but I always have reservations. I always have reservations about tagging a victim's name. And I like to only do it if you're actually sharing useful information on the case. And technically there are updates, and I feel like some of the information I shared today, and some of the insight that I shared today, I feel needs to be out there. And if I don't tag certain names, then it's not going to get the attention that I would like it to get. So I'm probably going to add tags to this video, specifically this one. And yes, to get more views, but to get more views for the sake of getting more awareness out there. Because I didn't even, I just picked a default thumbnail that I've used many times in this one, and I didn't even, and I just put some title and whatever. But I mean, we're not all shitbags here, man. Some of us actually really care. Some of us, like myself, have unorthodox methods. But I don't know any other way than to call these people what I think they are. Call them out for what they do. And the only way I do it is honestly, I don't know how to do it any other way. So, yeah, no, I don't think that Gray would ever quit. He's just too good at this, and he's too passionate about it. But I'm saying, I mean, what happens if we lose creators like Gray? What happens if we do that? Then there's nothing left but slime. The fresh water out of the pond is drained, and then there's nothing left but the slime on the bottom. And that's where the true crime community is headed, because it's not far from it at this point. And it's sad. And it's sad. And the people that pay for it are the victims, because we're in this amazingly unique position to where it's actually popular to discuss missing people, where there's more, you have an opportunity to make more people care about these victims. We have this amazing gift that is this platform. And sorry, I'm trying to clear that. And it's being used irresponsibly, and it's making the people, it's getting to the point to where the loudest people who say they care don't look like they care at all. You know, so it's very disheartening, to say the least. It's very disheartening, to say the least. So, anyways, guys, I am going to wrap this up. Very, very strange. I haven't gone live this early, I don't think, since the Letitia Stout trial. But yeah, Clementine, me too. I like people who deal in facts as well. So anyways, guys, I love you guys a lot. Thanks for joining me in the middle of the day here, or just before the middle of the day. I really appreciate it. And I loved hanging out with you. I know this wasn't a very entertaining or fun, stream, but there were just some things that I didn't get to cover last night because the time kind of ran out, and I was not made aware of until after. Wait a second here. I just got a email that could be I just got an email that could be beneficial real quick. I mean, it's probably nothing major. I know I was really just about to sign off, but give me 1 second here. Let me just go over this. Oh, wait. No, okay. I don't need to go over this. It's just more, it's just, this is a 2-year-old article. I'm not going to go over that. But I appreciate the email. But it's a 2-year-old article basically explaining that the FBI was deployed in specialized team of child abduction experts. But we know that there's no evidence yet of a child abduction. So that came up nil. But that proves that the FBI were that these investigators were absolutely entertaining the possibility and investigating thoroughly the possibility of an abduction. They did not dismiss the possibility of an abduction, but this was very early on in the investigation as well. So, but it's just more proof that these investigators have been doing everything that they can to find Summer. So, but anyways, guys, I do love you guys very, very much. You guys are amazing. And I really appreciate all your support, and especially all of your criticism. And I did say this was going to be short. Technically, this is a half hour short than this is a half hour shorter than most of my other live streams. So I am cutting it short. And Billy's canceled, by the way. They found out that Billy's beard was polluting large bodies of water. His beard is a enemy of the environment, and so his beard has gotten him canceled because he's killing wildlife in large bodies of water with his beard. I love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll do this again very soon.